When the president comes in, you just get quiet. I love that.
Hey, I'm thankful for all of you being here. I want you to know, I think most of you know, we have another event going on campus right now. Ivan Park is in the middle of campus giving what's called the last lecture. It's not his last lecture, but it is a lecture that was given by a professor at Carnegie Mellon University several years back after he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, I believe. And the talk went viral, and it actually stimulated a series of these talks all across the country. So that's going on right now. I tell you that in part to say, pray for Ivan Park. He has been diagnosed with ALS, so he is a perfect person to deliver this lecture. I was there for the first few minutes of it. It was filled with humor and jokes.
He told my daughter's in his class, and he told her, he said, told the class, that's what I get for writing a book about Job.
About Job.
Yeah.
He also announced tonight that he is writing an ALS Job book. He said there's never been one written. And now he's going to write it. So,
that's great.
So pray for him, remember him. Students filled up that room, and they will actually migrate over here in probably about 20 or 25 minutes when they finish. So let's pardon their interruption. Let them come in and enjoy the show as well. So thanks for being here. Thanks for all you've done. This is, gosh, I've lost count now, Anthony, the number of events we put on here in the Entergy Theater.
This is the best one.
The best one. The most recent one.
Yeah, exactly.
And it will absolutely be fantastic. Anthony, let me say one other quick word to thank you. You and Amy, where's Amy? In the back. You deserve a ton of credit for the work that goes on in this theater.
Thank you.
And the work that we'll see tonight is going to be spectacular. I had a little teaser earlier on it, so you're in for a treat. Now, I'm going to ask you to do a few little things here. Tell them about some of the projects you got going on, but don't do it too long. I'm not. We're ready to watch some good stuff. Thank all of you. Thank you. Y'all, Blake Thompson. I went through some presidents here and worked with some different presidents over the years, and Blake Thompson is just such a wonderful thing at Mississippi College, and I just can't say enough good things about him. And Michael was talking earlier about the lightning speed that we produced our student crew film. We had a lightning speed for the Institute, and with getting that up and running because of Blake Thompson, Katrina Pace, and the others who helped us. So we're very grateful. This is our first film festival, so I thought I would show my first film that I did in 1980. And I started out, I was doing some little things like this, so Indiana Jones kind of stuff. So I got my little cousins, and I was working the camera. My dad was a high school football coach, so I borrowed the high school football camera and would record them out there. This has absolutely no story at all, but I do have a little special effect here. I've got an arrow flying into this tree right there. So I had them be real still and paused it. So this was my first attempt because it didn't have very much story to it. But then my brother and I did a short film called The Odd Father, and I'm going to let that play for you here. That was a nice special effect. So anyway. Oh, please don't. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad Andy did not show me his first film when he came to me with the idea for the Institute for Southern Storytelling. Andy, let's see some more.
Wait, don't you have something else you need to be doing? No.
Let's see some more films.
So, all right, so that was a start, okay, and I think what had happened is maybe that was my senior year, maybe, and we had rented a tuxedo for prom or something, and I'm like, what can I do when I have this tuxedo? So let's do a film. My brother, I filmed his parts, and then he was going to film my parts, but then my dad made him go bush hog, so I had to set mine up on a tripod and all the perils of filmmaking. But anyway, but that was fun, and that was quite a few years ago. Gary Grubbs and I have been friends for, gosh, I don't know how many years. And Gary and I have done commercials together. And I thought before we showed you some of his stellar work, we would show you a commercial we did together. Gary is not aware that I'm going to show this. This also has an Indiana Jones theme. This is one we did for Matt Grubbs Hyundai in Hattiesburg. We shot this in Gary's garage, and Gary is doing the narration for this. And we're shooting this, I think one shot we're holding an iPhone light for some of the lighting. But this is very interesting, so check out this quick commercial here.
The following preview is rated H. In a world where treasure is hard to find, some seek only the path to true riches, the key to a brand new world. Discover your treasure at Matt Grubbs Hyundai, Highway 98 West, Hattiesburg.
I knew that would be, yes. I knew that would be Gary's proudest moment of something that we showed tonight. Okay, that was a Super Bowl ad, I think.
That's right.
For a local spot in the Super Bowl. Gary has been in lots of things, and one of the things is a film he did with Jessica Tandy, Hugh Cronin, and John Denver.
My name's Carpenter. I'd like you to have my card. Here you go. Prince Carpenter.
I ain't got my glasses.
No need. Just says Mountain Peak Development Corporation, Greenville, South Carolina. All I want you to remember is Prince.
You kidnapped Molly Carpenter.
Well, could be. There's a whole heap of carpenters over here my folks are kin to.
That's it.
Oh, you want I should do the other side?
If you please. I wish I had my strength so that I didn't have to bother you. Had 2 boys and Hector always done such as that. You done it. Thank you.
Very, very cool. Very cool. So you've got Driving Miss Daisy, Fried Green Tomatoes, and then Working with Gary. That was pretty cool. I had never seen that, and Gary, I asked him what his favorite thing he had been a part of, and he said Foxfire. And you can find that on Plex streaming and some different other platforms. You need to check out the movie. It's really, really well done. And there are basically 4 actors in it, and Gary is one of those. It was just a real treat. It's called Foxfire. I did want to say one thing before I bring Gary up. When my father passed away a few years ago, I was down in Caesar and I played music. So I wasn't in the receiving line, and I played music and I did the eulogy and things. And as I'm playing piano and I'm looking at all the people coming there and family and friends, I see this tall fellow standing down there, and it's Gary Grubbs. Gary had come down. He didn't know my dad. He didn't know my family. And it just overwhelmed me realizing Gary's there for me. And he was there because he cared about me. And I've tried to take that as a lesson and tried to be present for people in my life who I care about. But I'll never forget that, Gary. And so now that I've said something really nice, we're touting this thing as StoryFest, books, film, culture. There it is. So Michael has the books covered. Gary has film covered. So we'll let Amy handle the culture part of it. Y'all make welcome Gary Grubbs. Hey, Big Daddy.
Easy money.
Easy, man.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Glad to be here.
So
Do I need to turn on this mic?
you do.
Okay, here we go.
Can you hear?
I don't know.
Can y'all hear him?
Can we hear?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, now Gary, all right, here's the thing. We're nice and close here. This is intimate. Ain't nobody here but us and just a few people out here. So tell us, when you first, because I also looked up the Jan and Dean film,
Okay.
and this was the first thing that Gary was in, and there is one wide shot, and I think
You got good eyes.
that's you standing there because you're tall.
Right.
Gary was hired to play one of the sons of the pioneers, and it was, so you've got Dick Clark, you've got,
Mike Love of the Beach Boys.
so you've got this, it's a made-for-TV movie, and here's Gary playing one of the sons of the pioneers, and did you call your friends and things?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was one of the first parts I got. A casting director from Mississippi put me in there. And the hardest thing is to get your first part because you have to be in the union, in the Screen Actors Guild to get a part. But you have to have a part to get in the Screen Actors Guild. And that's the hardest thing for actors. But I met a casting director named Ramsey King from Mississippi. He called me and he gave me this part as one of the sons of the pioneers. And it's a Jan and Dean story. Some of you remember Little Old Lady from Pasadena and Dead Man's Curve. That was their songs. But I am standing on the side with a big cowboy hat on and fringe on and tall boots. And I'm singing, "Oh, come tumbling down." That was it. That was my lines in the movie. But here is Mike Love and here is Dick Clark. And I thought, well, definitely we're going to be in the movie, and the camera's right on us. So we told all our friends back in Mississippi, check this out. Gary's in a movie, and tell me, because you would see it here before we would see it there. Tell us how it went. And of course, I had 100 people watching. Yeah, they cut the part out. So we learned our lesson about we want to make sure you're in a movie before you tell people.
The movie wasn't that great, so I think it was
That's it.
good. That's what we'll say. We've got lots of stories. And my favorite thing is that you lived for a time in Hollywood, and then you guys came back and you were in Mississippi. He married a Miss Mississippi. So Glenda Grubbs is a Miss Mississippi the year that I was born, and he married a Miss Mississippi, and she is great, and she makes great pastries and things, just a sweetheart. But you moved your family back to Mississippi, and then you still continued for years and years going and doing roles in films, and you would just go to Atlanta, you would go to Austin or wherever. So what I know I jumped ahead, and we're going to be going back and forth, but what made you guys come back home to Mississippi?
Well, it was real simple. Our daughter had graduated from high school, and she couldn't quite decide which college she wanted to go to, and she came and visited Southern Miss, where we went, and they offered her a scholarship. And so that sounded pretty good. And my son was going into high school. In his situation, the high school he was going into, he had a good grammar and a good middle school, and the high school, and the boys that he was going to hang out with didn't look like the guys we wanted to be hanging out with. So I said to Glenda, you know what? I think it's time to go home. And we really decided in 10 days, and within 3 weeks, we're back in Mississippi. So we came back for the children. And luckily, when I got here, was about the time, and you guys remember this, that New Orleans started making films. They started giving tax breaks down there. And so I really didn't stop acting. And then I would go back. Still, a lot of people knew me in L.A., and I would go back and do 2 or 3 jobs a year in L.A., but mostly I was here, been here.
We were filming something with Robert St. John for a Fish Heads TV pilot thing years ago. And I remember I was making notes on the back of a piece of paper, and you said, I'm going to need that back. and I flip it over, and I think it's Criminal Minds or Bones or some. It's an episode of a TV show. It's a part of a script because they won't send you the whole script anymore.
Right.
But I'm making notes on the back of his script, and he said, "I've got to memorize that." I said, "Sorry."
Well, the reason they don't send you the whole, you used to have the whole script, and you really need it. What happened before and after determines what you do in the middle in your part. But social media changed the whole project because a lot of people would get the script and they would talk about it, and they'd be on television. I mean, it'd be on their social media, on their one of their pages, talking to everybody and telling them about the show before it was ever on. So social media really changed how we do and how we cast and how they shoot.
Yeah. Well, and you are a screenwriter. Now, you've had lots of television episodes, but the thing that I was most impressed with was one of the Dolly Parton movies. A few years ago, they came out with, what was that series called?
Heartstrings.
Yes,
Dolly Parton Heartstrings. Well, I had a play that opened right here at New Stage called As the Crow Flies, and it played well, and they held it over. New Stage was about to close, but this play kind of saved it. They held it over week after week, and it was having full audiences, and they were putting chairs down front, and we really had a great run of As the Crow Flies. And so here we come years later, and they're going to do a Dolly Parton series of songs that that had been written for her and that she had been singing, and they were changing them into movies. Well, I mentioned to the producer, she's got a song As a Crow Flies, I got a play As a Crow Flies. So my As a Crow Flies was written in 1988, and her song was written in 2006. But we pretended that she wrote her song about my play. So they used my play to be her screenplay, and so I had a movie and all of it, and it was a Dolly Parton movie, and it was on CW. So like 25, 30 people saw it. Maybe 50.
Well, now you need to go look it up because it is out there streaming. We're going to look at a couple of, we've got 2 or 3 different times we're going to look at some clips. I think you're going to have fun with these. So this is you in JFK.
As the magic bullet theory. The magic bullet enters the president's back, headed downward at an angle of 17 degrees. It then moves upward in order to leave Kennedy's body from the front of his neck, wound number 2, where it waits 1.6 seconds, presumably in midair, where it turns right.
And that was Wayne Knight from Jurassic Park and Seinfeld there in front of you, and Kevin Costner. Tell us about that.
Well, I was really like that a lot. We didn't talk a lot. It was Kevin Costner was doing most of the talk. Tommy Lee Jones was a bad guy. So at night, we would go down in the French quarters and eat. And Tommy Lee was really sort of a stiff character. And we would go down and to find a restaurant, and they would ask me for my autograph. They would ask Wayne Knight for his autograph. And Tommy Lee would look at him like, "You say a word to me and I'm going to take you out." So nobody would talk to him. It was amazing. But we'd go down, and one night we'd go down and we find a restaurant, and we're sitting there eating, and a couple of mules pulling a tourist cart comes by, and the tour guide is telling them all about New Orleans. And Tommy Lee says, "You see those old mules, those 2 mules pulling that cart?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "They're about 18, 20 years old. They're such and such kind of mule." I said, "Really?" And he said, "You know, mules built this country." I said, "I beg your pardon?" He said, Who you think built the railroad?" And I said, "Mules." He said, "Yeah, we didn't have any trucks or tractors or cranes. They put them in wagons, and the mules pull those rails out there, and they built that railroad across this country. Mules did, and mules built New York City." I said, "Okay." He said, "Those big blocks, how you think they got them up there? They didn't have a crane. They tie them to a pulley, and the mules would pull the blocks up. And mules built New York City. I got 7 mules myself." So that's interesting, Tommy Lee. So we were going back, we get back to the motel, and I said, "Tommy Lee, I got the name of your autobiography." He said, "I'm ready." I said, "You ready?" "I believe in mules, the lives, times, and social skills of Tommy Lee Jones." He said, yep, that's it. And he went over and got a piece of paper and wrote it down. But don't look for it, because Tommy Lee's not going to write an autobiography. He won't talk to people. Nobody's going to do a biography. He's just, he and some mules live out near San Antonio somewhere, is all I can tell you. And I worked again with him, and we had another crazy event. But Tommy Lee's a piece of work.
Well, you've been in lots of television and films, so I think a lot of people that I've shown your picture to say, oh, yes, I've seen him in things. So let's look at a couple of other things here.
Okay.
Tell me, what have I got to do to buy this company? Well, first we got to get something called a Hart-Scott-Rodino antitrust clearance, and then we can negotiate standstills and lockups. Naturally, that's after we do due diligence. What the hell is due diligence? No, Harlan, after we do due diligence. Doesn't matter how slow you say it, Will. It's still doo-doo, isn't it?
Sunday, the hero America grew up with is back.
How are we gonna get out?
I'm not so sure that we do.
Johnny Cash, Samantha Eggar, Gary Grubbs, and Tim Dunnigan as
Davy Crockett.
the legend lives again.
I'm gonna shock you, Davy Crockett.
The all-new Davy Crockett next Sunday.
Born on a mountaintop in Tennessee, green estate in the land of the free. Raised in the woods so he knew every tree. Killed him a bar when he was only 3. A Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier. Another round. Not because my time equals sales plus commission minus overhead. To me, it's the people that matter.
Yeah, people, yeah.
I wouldn't want you to fall in love with, just for example, a boat like mine. That's the Waveliner 2, but she'd be overkill for you fellas.
Yeah, overkill. Too much.
The truth is, this boat you're standing in, the Ranger 250C, gentlemen, this boat, well, can you just see the neighbors?
Yeah, the neighbors. Wyszynski.
Yeah.
Can you just see them? I'm telling you, that's the best part of my job. Not keeping boats afloat, but keeping a man's self-image above the water.
Yeah,
that self-image.
Yeah.
Fly like Dick Cheney and go, bang! I got him, bang! You're gonna tell everyone what a meanie old bullet is, and I'm gonna have to sit alone at lunch? Oh, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. Then let's just make out. Wow. Call me. Bang! Am I good or am I good?
I was going to see if they were going to fall bang.
Okay, the OC, that was a strange event. I was living here, and I'd gone out there to do a small part in something, I forget what, and my agent calls me and says they're having auditions for a new role on the OC. Thought, well, that'd be cool. So I go over there that day, and I walk in the waiting room, and there is Gerald McCraney, Bo Bridges, Magnum PI guy, Hawaii guy,
Tom
Selleck, and one other guy and me. And I said, so how am I going to get a part ahead of Tom Selleck and Gerald McCraney? So we were sitting there, and we could hear them auditioning in the other room. Usually that's not true. And they were being really dramatic. And my trick always was try to find humor in the part. And so I go in, and there's like network, cable, everybody's there, like 12 people. And so my first line is, my name is Gordon Bullitt, the character. So I go to the lady I'm talking to, I go, hello, my name is Gordon Bullitt, and that's with a bang. And they all laughed. And then I added some more humor in the audition, and I ended up getting the part. Number one, because I didn't charge as much as Tom Selleck, but number two is they liked the humor. And we did it all through the show. They added it, I did it in the audition. When I got the script, it was in the script, and about 5 or 6 times in the movie, you saw it there, I would go, something would happen, and I'd go, bang! Now, all over town, everywhere I went, kids that watched the show would go, Gordon, bang! Gordon, bang! And I was at the airport coming home, and this 10-year-old little boy goes, Gordon, bang! Not at the airport.
So, the Davy Crockett thing. Okay, singing. So, how many of you remember the Davy Crockett song? This is our audience right here. I mean, I knew you would like the Davy Crockett clip. This was a revival of Davy Crockett during the late 80s
Yes.
for Disney. Here, swap mics with me. I think this one's a little louder.
Louder.
Tell us about getting the Davy Crockett role and getting to sing that song in Fess Parker's footsteps there.
Okay, so it was on in the 50s with Fess Parker for like 7 years. It was a #1 show. And then they decided to make it again. And I read, and I got the part of Georgie Russell, Davy Crockett's sidekick. And about 3 days before, a couple of days before we were going to shoot, I got a phone call and they said, we need you to come over to Disney Studios and lay down the soundtrack for the Davy Crockett song. I said, absolutely. And said, Tuesday, Wednesday at 10 o'clock. And they hung up and my wife said, what did they say? And I said, they want me to sing the Davy Crockett song. And she goes, Gary, you can't sing. I said, I can sing Davy Crockett. When I was a kid, I sang Davy Crockett. I can sing Davy Crockett. So we get over there, and this was a treat. The first thing they tell me is this song is the 4th best-selling song in history. And that's because it was on all those years, and every little boy had a 45 record of Davy Crockett. So I felt pretty cool that I was the second person to record the 4th best-selling song in history. And then they said, and there are 28 verses. So I laid down all 28 verses, took us a couple of hours. They had a great bluegrass band there. And what it was telling the story behind what was going on film. And so if we're chasing Indians, it'd be a verse about chasing Indians, Native Americans. If we were chasing, if we were lost in the woods, it'd be a verse like that. So, born on a mountaintop in Tennessee, green estate in the land of the free, raised in the woods so he knew every tree, killed him a bar when he was only 3. Davy Crockett. So I can sing Davy Crockett.
Now, my family, huge Disney fans, and another Mississippian, Mac McAnally, you may or may not know this, but they have recently re-recorded the Country Bear Jamboree, and Mac McAnally led the music in that. So the refurbishment of the Country Bear Jamboree was recently done by another Mississippian. So they know where to come when
absolutely, when they need a country boy.
Now, this was back in the day when television was so different, and even before that. So I'm going to talk about The Burning Bed. So this is a film done with Farrah Fawcett, and you were also in a film called Fatal Vision about Jeffrey Dahmer. And this is at a time when you had 3 channels. So if it was a big hit movie and everybody watched it, now if somebody, American Idol or something like America's Got Talent, and they had 3 million people watching tonight or something, and it's a big deal. How many people watched The Burning Bed?
Well, The Burning Bed at the time, Farrah Fawcett was the lead, the first drama she did, and there were 33 million people watching. And I did the next night, Fatal Vision, story of Jeffrey Dahmer, a police captain who killed his family. Andy Griffith was the prosecuting attorney. 36 million people watched it. And back then, all those shows had so many more viewers, and then they became cable, then they became streaming. So there's all these channels, but not many people watching it, like there was back in the day. But the Farrah Fawcett story was a story of a man, The Burning Bed. The title tells you what it is. This a man that was beating up his wife. He was a drunk. He was really tough. So one night he comes in, he beats up his wife, and he passes out on the bed. She pours gas on him and sets him on fire. That's not funny. And you ready?
No ideas out there.
You ready? That night, one woman in America and one woman in Canada burn up their husbands in the bed.
Wow.
Power of television.
Wow.
Now, I think it was the same situation, she wasn't mad at her husband. He'd been beating her up, but that was part of that story.
But the next day you go to the grocery store and everybody knows you.
Yeah, well, at that time I'd been in LA 8 or 10 years, and every now and then somebody would know me, and I'll tell you what that's about. They're not going to call, but that Saturday morning we went to the grocery store, and everybody wanted an autograph. everywhere I went, every corner I turned, and we were embarrassed, and I didn't really know what to do because nobody had ever asked me for an autograph. But there I was on the burning bed in Fatal Vision, and millions of people watched it, and everybody was talking about it. So I started signing autographs and kind of still signing them to this day. It just kind of keeps going. And that's because of all the repeats and all the streaming. And now that you have heard me and know my voice, you will be at your house and you will hear me in the other room on the channel and go, hey, Grubbs is on.
That's right. And you might see him on one of these classic commercials. Take a look. You're gonna like these.
Where does he get
You
this?
mean my favorite little rainbow sprinkles are just $2.79 a dozen? Huh?
Just $2.79.
Well, Redenbacher, what are you doing in this field?
Making sure this season's crop of kernels is good enough for my gourmet popping corn.
Most every kernel pops, too. Delicious. More pecani sauce. This ain't Pace pecani sauce.
And you ain't Burt Reynolds.
But Pace is made with your fresh vegetables and spices by folks in San Antonio. This stuff is made in New York City.
New York!
Darling, we're gonna have to shut you down. Pick up the original, pick up the pace.
So I do that Pace Pecani sauce commercial. And Pace Pecani sauce is a small company in San Antonio. And that commercial, they just really take off. So they run the commercial in Dallas. And it says Pace Pecani. I say Pace Pecani was not made in San Antonio. It was made in New Jersey. I say New York City here. I say New Jersey. That was a commercial. And they ran it. And a guy in Dallas called the station and said, I don't like that commercial. You're making fun of New Jersey. And they said, no, we're just saying you don't make Pace Pecani sauce. He said, don't run that commercial. They ran it again. He called again. He said, that's not good. Do not run that commercial about New Jersey. They ran it the third time. He called and said, you run it one more time, I'm blowing up your station. Power of television. So they called me and they flew me to New York, where they were cutting the commercial to change New Jersey to New York City. And then they changed it to New York City. And then that commercial was so hot and so cool, and everybody loved it. And they wanted us to do a series of those commercials because Pace Pecani was just selling out. They couldn't keep them on the shelf. So we were going to do a series of them. And the guy that you saw there, do y'all remember him? The guy that was with me, I was the deputy and he was the sheriff. He was a bartender on Murphy Brown. So he was on a regular television show and he wanted a bundle of money to do the commercial. And they wouldn't give it to him. So I lost the commercial because, I'm giving you the backstories, because he wanted so much money. So I'm gonna blow up his station next time I see it.
Wow. Okay. I feel sort of like, you ever see Inside the Actors Studio with James Lipton and with my little cards? So I'm gonna just list some names and you just give me one sentence about them, okay? So you've worked with lots of people.
Right.
Okay, so Clint Eastwood.
Easy to work with, doesn't direct much.
Okay, and you got to throw him up against a car as the, all right, wait, I just saw the name, Jack Nicholson, tell me.
Easy to work with. Okay, I need to tell the story, right?
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm doing The Border with Jack Nicholson, and the director says, Gary, when Jack drives up out there, go out there and tell him the boss wants to see him in the office. And so I go out there. I said, I got it. I go out there and say, hey, Jack, boss wants to see you in the office. And they say, okay, do it again. And Jack comes over to me and he says, do you know my name? I said, yeah, you're Jack Nicholson. He said, that's my real name. My character name is Charlie. So when we're doing the show, you may want to call me Charlie instead of Jack.
He was speaking real slow to him because, you know, Gary's from Mississippi.
Yeah, and I said, yeah, I got you. And I was embarrassed to death. I've never been so embarrassed.
Okay, Elizabeth Taylor.
I had one line with her, and I don't know if you guys know Elizabeth Taylor, I just got to tell her which way everybody was meeting. But early on, I worked with Henry Fonda and Elizabeth Taylor.
Dustin Hoffman. You worked with him with Runaway Jury.
Yeah, and Gene Hackman and Dustin Hoffman and Gene Hackman were roommates. I don't know if you know that. The first few years in New York as they started. You want a story? We got time?
Yes.
So we're down in New Orleans. I'm living back here, and my wife and daughter and son come down. And he looks at my daughter and says, "You're really pretty." Dustin looks at my daughter Molly and says, "You're really pretty. Can you sing?" She doesn't say anything, and I go, "Yeah, she can sing." And he says, "Okay, my son is looking for a pretty girl like you who can sing to be in his play. And I'm going to call him and tell him about you. Now sing me a song." And Molly said, people walking all around, they're shooting a movie, and I said, "Sing something, Molly." And she sings a little song. He said, "I knew you could sing." Gets on the phone, calls his son, and then he says, "This is Kevin, Molly. He wants to talk to you about his play." So he hands the phone over, and Dustin's son, Kevin, says, "Molly?" She goes, "Yes." Said, "Don't pay any attention to my daddy. He's completely crazy."
And that was that, huh?
And so they act like they're talking. She hung up the phone, and he said, "You didn't give me your phone number. Give me your phone number." So Molly gives Dustin Hoffman her phone number, and that's her claim to fame. Dustin has her phone number, but he's never called.
I'm going to show some more clips, but I did want to say you have a JFK story. So here you are, Oliver Stone, who you said you didn't care if you worked with him again. So they've set up this shot at this dock,
right?
And everything's ready and set, and he's got all the permits and licenses, and then what happens?
I don't know.
With the ship, well, there's a ship that pulls up. Remember with the Russian sailors coming off?
Yeah.
Did you make up this story when you?
Yeah, I must have. Ships are coming off.
And he's yelling because...
You tell the story.
That's right. So Oliver is yelling at all these sailors coming off. They have been at sea this long time. I vividly remember you telling me this. And all the sailors, and he's like, "Get them back on the boat. Because we're trying to film here." And they're like, "You get them back on the boat," these
Right.
Russian
Yeah.
sailors.
Yeah, Oliver thought he could. They were real sailors too. He thought he could boss anybody around. He was not fun to work with.
All right, let's look. Let's look at some more clips. So some of this is gonna go back in time, and you guys are gonna have some flashbacks with some of these.
Call this dog off. You better say please. That's the only thing he understands. Please.
You know, I'm very sure that I can get Sinatra and Shirley MacLaine to entertain at your charity dance.
Those dogs gonna yap all night.
They're all excited over today's tracking.
Herb's here, hits him with a board.
We had to, boss. We couldn't get his attention.
Get him out of here. Fine breakfast. Tell him we owe him one.
And Colette's blood pipe from your pajama top. Do you have any explanation for that?
We thought the second show doesn't start until 9.
It doesn't, but after the first show, the management canceled his booking.
How would you feel if someone came in here and destroyed this beautiful picture of your family, huh?
That's not my family.
What, they came with the frame?
No, I didn't like the family that came with the frame. I had to buy another frame to get these people.
But I heard all about what you did for Gulfport after the hurricane.
Well, this town is close to my heart. I grew up here.
Not an expert on genealogy or paternity.
Oh, Your Honor, you don't have to be an expert on much of nothing to know it's hard for two people to make a baby when they're 1,000 miles apart.
How hard do you think it was to come back here and coach high school football from pros to high school?
I'll begin with a series of 20 innocuous true or false questions. I want you to answer in the affirmative. Are you ready to begin?
Fire away. Did God tell you to kill James Sutton?
You know what God is telling me right now?
To get a lawyer.
See there? The Word of God is audible to all of those who listen.
Bill, what the hell do you think you're doing?
Billy, don't get your feathers all ruffled now. I met this old boy over at the OC at Clark Field, and, well, he plays a mean jazz piano.
I don't care if he whistles Dixie out his ass. He ain't gonna do it here.
Sir,
Boy, are you blind?
Yes, sir, since I was 7.
Well, let me help you out then. This is a country band. We don't play no boogie woogie.
Yes, sir, I understand. I love country music.
Here. I am gonna have to put some glasses before he scares somebody half to death.
The only way you go back to sleep is if you heard your favorite song. You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the
Yeah,
wind.
Mom used to sing that to me.
Luke, your mom was a lovely woman, but she couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. Don't you remember? You were terrified of all those monsters in the closet. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with
Luke. It was you.
You loved it. Made you think you were bigger and stronger than any of those monsters.
You really did that.
Yeah, sure.
Look. Mike told me what's going on with your back.
Oh, that boy's tongue is loose at both ends.
You know, George, you're gonna have to make a decision here. What was wrong with me?
What was wrong with you?
Yeah. What was it, George? Why can't you just tell me?
I can't talk to you when you're like this.
And you haven't changed. I don't think you ever will.
Luke, Luke! I'm not very good at this kind of talk. But if it's what it takes, I'll keep trying all night. But first, you've got to get me to the bathroom.
Well, I was.
That's good stuff.
That's good stuff. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to play Leo. He's Leo. Leonardo DiCaprio's father in 3 episodes of Growing Pains, and everywhere I went, you go to the mall, you go to church, or whatever, little girls would look at me and scream because I'm Leo's daddy, not because I'm Leo. So I don't know how many times I signed autographs. Leo's dad, GG. They didn't care what my name was. They didn't know who I was, but I'd put GG, and then it was everywhere. It was amazing how popular he was, and therefore, I ended up playing right off of that. So.
Which that was an unusual scene for a sitcom, and I edited that down. It was a long scene.
Yeah, it was.
And a touching scene. I was pretty impressed finding that.
Well, and about 3 years ago, I got a call, read for this, what was it called? Django Unchained, Quentin Tarantino, and I read for the part of Leonardo DiCaprio's booker. I booked him card games. He was a card shark, and he traveled around, and I went ahead of him and set up games. And I went out, and we had a rehearsal, and Leo and I did wardrobe at the same time, and we were excited to get to work with each other again. And of course, he ran over and they cut the part. That happens about 1 out of 20 times of every show. You're going to get cut before you ever shoot it. After you shoot it, they shoot about a 2 hours and 30 minutes, and they cut it into about a 1 hour and 50-minute film. So 40 minutes of that what they shot goes away.
Yeah. And you were up for the role of Allison Janney's husband in The Help, and then something happened, and then you didn't get that role. What are some other roles that maybe you almost got, that you were in the running for, that you hoped you would get, or what are some of those experiences? Because there's a lot of heartache in this kind of line of work.
Yeah. Let me see if I can think of something that was that I really had my heart set on. You know what? I must be good at forgetting them. That's your game plan.
That's good.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Once you miss it, you forget it, or you'll carry it around with you. And I can't even think right now of a part that I thought I really should have had that part. I kind of surprised myself more than anything else in getting parts. And the reason I had success in LA when a lot of people didn't, they say after 5 years, out of 100 people who came to LA to be an actor, one of them is still there after 5 years. And you see them coming and going, and you see them all the time. Been here 6 weeks, I got to go home. Been here 3 months, I got to go home. And so I managed to stay 22 years.
Well, I love it. I'll be watching Golden Girls. There's Gary. I'll be watching an episode of MASH, and there's Gary. So it just harkens back to me again to a time when everybody was seeing those programs,
Right.
and now it's just so diluted. And Michael and I were talking about the dilution of books now, and there's so many bad books out there. But now there's so much streaming stuff, but it's also a chance to see some of this old stuff like Foxfire and find some of these things that I wouldn't have normally had a chance to see. So Foxfire is one of your favorite parts.
Right.
So any other just all-time favorites?
Let's see, Foxfire, OC, Will and Grace, 10 episodes on Will and Grace. I went into, they called me to come down and be in this new pilot, Will and Grace, and it was about gay characters, and there was a lot of press about it. And I go down. They said, "It's a small part, Gary, but we need you. Please come help us." And I had done another show for them, so I go down, and I'm there the first week. It was 2 weeks, Monday through Friday. The second Friday, you shoot the pilot. So by the 8th day, 5 days and Wednesday of the second week, it was become obvious that the guy that was playing Will's boss could not make that part funny. And the head of the network was there that day. We did a run through, and he told the producers, "I think you need to move Grubbs over into that part and make it funny, and I think he can do it."
Was that Tartikoff? Brandon?
No.
Who was that?
The one after Tartikoff. Yeah, him.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I interrupted. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. He was the guy right after Tartikoff, and it was a time they were changing heads of the network real fast. But anyway, so he said, I think Grubbs should do that part. And so I did it, and it worked real well. And then they had the upfronts where they go up in New York, and they show the new shows to the advertisers to see who wants to advertise on what show. And they showed Will and Grace, and that scene that I did with Will got the huge applause. So the head of the network comes back to the producers and says, "Put him as a regular on the show. Make him a regular character on the show." It was not their idea, it was his idea. So I get on Will and Grace, here we go. That's the greatest thing that can happen. You're a regular on a show, it's gonna run for a number of years, you're in the top 10, everybody knows you, you're making big money. And on about the 10th show, that guy that was head of the network got fired. Yep, next week they fired me, even though I was doing great. They never could replace me. They tried all kind of people, but that's the ego in Hollywood. Those two producers didn't want to be told who to hire. And Sean Hayes, I actually did a podcast with him last week. Yeah.
Well, and every time I see you, every time I hear your voice and tune in and watch something, or the first time I watched Ray, I didn't know you were in that. And there's Gary right in the opening of this. And it's always a sense of pride, and not just, because we have Mississippians in the entertainment industry and all, but just knowing you, and you're just such a good guy. And I know of scripts you've turned down with the types of language and the types of situations. And Gary said there was one scene that he had talked about, they wanted him to film, and they were suggesting that it would be this and this. And Gary said, "We can film that, but I can't ever show that. My Sunday school class may see that." And he wasn't joking about that. And I admire the work that you've done, but also there are some things that you chose not to do, and I appreciate that.
Well, that's the last few years. Because I'm Southern, because I'm big, because I'm older, every part, I'm some kind of tough guy, and the language is always just not presentable in any way, and it's not needed. So I just sort of quit doing it. You know, I did do Christmas in Mississippi, and I did God Bless the Broken Road.
You had a great role in God Bless the Broken Road.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. So there are things I can do, but mostly I can't. I can't work. So that's how.
If only there were like a Christian university that was starting to do film work or something. So I don't know. Maybe we'll have to connect on some things.
I'm with you.
All right, guys. I'm going to ask any quick questions, because then we're going to transition into watching Chasing Rabbits, and we've had some people trickling in. I do want to remind you that after we see the film and after we visit with Michael a bit and ask some questions, then we'll go and do some signing and things across there. So I want to remind you that Gary will be over there. So I'm going to let a couple of questions, but then if you have more questions and want to talk to Gary or get a picture with him or a signature, like again, we have complimentary magazines. So by all means, plan to, as soon as the event is over, buy a book of Michael's, or 2 or 3, and come over there to our studio, see the studio, and talk to these guys and get them to sign it. So it's going to be great. Any quick questions in here before? Yes, Mary Jane.
When did I what?
When did you know when you wanted to do acting for your life?
Okay. I played football. I played football at Southern Miss.
Put your mic up.
I played football at Southern Miss. Applause. That was hard one. And my roommate's name was Cooper Huckabee. And Cooper was from Mobile, and he wanted to be an actor. And he wanted to go over to the theater department and get a part in a play. And he would go over, and he would bring back the script, and I would help him. And that's when I first got interested. And he went for 4 years and never got a part. So he graduates, he goes back to Mobile to coach football. And I am selling bulldozers and cranes in South Mississippi, selling construction equipment. I'm half asleep on the couch one night. This is a one statement that did it. I'm half asleep on the couch one night, and I hear Cooper's voice. And I look up, and lo and behold, he's on Little House on the Prairie. I couldn't believe it. I called his mother, I called him, and here it is. You asked a question, it's got a specific answer. He says to me, Grubbs, you got to get the heck out here. This beats the heck out of work.
There you go.
The next week I went out and he had a part with Angie Dickinson on Policewoman, which was like the Scarlett Johansson of that era. So I met Angie Dickinson. I went to an acting class. I came back, took a class at Southern. My wife of Miss Mississippi had done commercials, had done singing. She was game. We said, we're going to LA for 2 years. Don't have any children. And if we don't make it, we'll head back. So we sold the house, the dog, the barn, and we headed west. That was a good question.
One or two other questions? Yes, sir.
If you had a choice between television work or film work, which one would you prefer?
Say it again.
If you had a choice between television work and film work, which one would you prefer to do?
Well, it used to be film work. But what has happened is you can find a good television show with a good director that you know, and it's a 2-hour movie a week, and you like the part, so you want to do that. You can get offered a part in a film that you don't like as much, and you rather do the television. And there's not as much separation in film and television as there used to be. It used to be really, really apparent. So I'll do whatever, fits the day. And sometimes a lot of the film work that they send me now, I go, I can't do that. I'll tell you something interesting. A guy at the church saw me one day, and he said, I saw you on that movie, and you told this guy to go to hell. Why would you do that, Gary? Why would you take that part? I said, well, I'm sorry. That was a number of years ago. And then a few weeks later, he saw me and he said, I saw you this week on television. You were hilarious. I go, really? What did I do? He said, you shot and killed 2 men. Now, I was hilarious because he knew I wouldn't shoot and kill 2 men, but he didn't know I wouldn't say go to hell. So he didn't.
Oh, Gary, you've told me that. No, I'm just kidding. There's a question right there.
Okay, is it ever too old, to still get into pursue acting? Because I still
enjoy doing it, but I've always been told, you gotta have an agent, you gotta do this, but you gotta, like, be careful of who scam, like, I'm never too, are you ever too old, like, to still pursue, like, acting or take, I took your acting classes, like, take your acting classes or any other acting classes, or get, like, an agent or anything like that, or you have to start, like, real young?
Well, it's better to start young, but some agents need older actors. And I have a 76-year-old, a 68-year-old, a 62-year-old in my acting classes. I teach in Mobile and Gulfport, and they're doing well. But they're good actors. But they only started when they were 60 years old. They had retired from teaching, or they retired for something else. It's something they always wanted to do. And so they come to acting class, and they catch on real quick because they're really concentrated and they really want it to happen. They know that they don't have a lot of time. So no, it's not too old. If you're in good health, you know what I mean? If you're in bad health, it won't work because they won't.
And all of you have a high definition camera in your pocket. So that's what I try to tell young people. You don't have to wait till you get a right camera or something. You've got a camera. You can start filming. You can get with someone who's like-minded and say, just like us deciding we wanted to make Chasing Rabbits. We want to do a film. So we found people that we could work with, and we did that. So I think take that as some encouragement that they're a lot more, you have the equipment to do things now that you didn't used to do.
Absolutely.
Y'all, I know we've got other questions, so please plan to come next door and pick up one of those magazines and get Gary to sign that and visit with him a little bit more. We've had people again coming in, but Gary, is there any final thing here before we release you?
Let me look at my notes. I brought notes to see if I could.
That's a lot of notes, Gary.
I know.
Right here at the.
Yeah, I got about another hour's worth of stuff I want to say.
So tonight, over there afterwards.
Gary, tell the story about the guy that was in your acting class.
Okay, I got a guy by the name of Greg Tarzan Davis. He came out of New Orleans. And he came to my class, and he had dreads, hair way down here that was kind of red. And he was a handsome dude, he's a 28-year-old black guy. And he came up to me after class. He said, I'm going to be in the movies. I'm going to be an actor. You tell me what to do. And I thought, well, I'll try this. I said, cut your hair off, and I'll see you next week. So he said, okay. And he left and came back, and his hair was cut off. Oh, wow. And I said, okay, you got a Cajun accent. That's not going to work in LA. So just go online. There's several places that will tell you how to lose an accent and start working. Within 2 or 3 weeks, you could tell his accent was going away. In about 6 months, he says, I'm going. And I introduced him to my agent out there. And I said, I don't know about this guy. He doesn't have any experience. He's good in class. He's getting better. He's determined. She said, let me meet with him. And she met with him, and she liked him. And she sent him in for a Tom Hanks movie, Top Gun. First time he's ever been in, and he gets one of the leads. Now that doesn't happen. And now his name is Greg Tarzan Davis. Look for him. He's a good-looking 30-year-old black dude, and he's a sweet man.
He owes it all to you.
Huh?
He owes it all to you.
Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna call him tonight and see if I can get a kickback.
And at least Gary didn't ask you to cut your hair, or tell you to cut your hair. So that's good. Everybody, give a big round of applause. Gary Grubbs. I think you're really going to like this. So I'm going to tell you. So Michael, come on up since you've been sitting there so long. And I'll introduce you to Michael. And then we will show the film. And then we're going to have a little Q&A afterwards. Michael was coming down for Thacker Mountain Radio, one of the programs here. How many of you were here when Michael was? All right, I knew a lot of you were. When Michael came down, I said, well, if you come early, we can interview you in the Institute and kind of piggyback off of that. And halfway through the interview, or after the interview, I said, now my students, we're doing lots of documentaries, but some of the students can't get excited about a documentary. They all want to do film work. So you wouldn't happen to have a short story we could use to do a short film? And Michael said, well, sure. And later he said, whether I did or whether I didn't, I was still going to say yes. But he said, well, sure. And then I don't know what possessed me. I said, well, Michael, you have screenwritten some movies, from your novels, Desperation Road, which starred Mel Gibson, and The Fighter was turned into Rumble Through the Dark. These are two really, really good movies. I think Lionsgate maybe did both of those. Really good movies. I said, Michael, have you ever thought about directing? And Michael says, I would love to direct. And I said, well, why don't you come direct our film? And he said, I would love to come direct your film. So what was it? How long after that and we were filming?
I think we did that interview in July and we were filming in November, which is rocket speed in any creative endeavor, yeah.
So that's the power that we have here at Mississippi College. Y'all, so again, we're going to watch the film in a second here, but first, give Michael Farris Smith a big round of applause. Now, I'm going to let Michael set up the film, and this started out years ago as a short story, and then it developed into something else, and then we decided when you offered two stories to us, and we gravitated toward this one, and we gathered a student crew. Raise your hand if you're a student in here that worked on the film. All right, Nate, Elizabeth, wonderful, Sydney, Cole, Camden, Xavier. Okay, so we're gonna bring you guys up right after the film and introduce you to everybody. But we got excited because this was a project that we could all kind of figure out what we were doing together. And Michael had not directed a film before, so we were all, and it just turned into this wonderful experience. So set up the film for us.
Well, first of all, it's a miracle any film ever gets made. Short, long, feature, whatever. This was based on my short story that came out, I don't know, years ago, and I had actually already adapted it into a one-act play, the Tennessee Williams Festival in Columbus, Mississippi, about 6 or 7 years ago, and asked me if I had a short story that would be a good adaptation of a one-act play, and I thought Chasing Rabbits would be great because it's very contained in setting on, and we did it, and it ran for 3 nights, and it was a lot of fun, and so it's kind of been sitting there for a while, but I always felt like I wanted to do something else with it, so when Anthony said to me, do you have something you want to do? It's funny because I think just in like a couple of days before I came out and did the interview with Anthony, I had read something about Stephen King offering his short stories to first-time filmmakers for $1.
Yeah.
Which is a very gracious thing. So when Anthony said, "Do you have something you would like to do?" Like, what would it mean? Instead of $1, I said, "How about a nickel?"
Which
I still haven't gotten, by the way.
Well, that was in our budget. So, I mean, we did have a nickel.
And I don't think I've gotten that nickel
Well,
yet.
we still have the nickel, but that's okay.
But no, it was just exciting to do. And I think, Chasing Rabbits is a story a lot of people can relate to. And that's one reason I was very happy to get it on film and work with you as a DP and all the crew. And hello, everyone who I work with who I haven't seen in a minute. But it was just a really good, it was a good fun time. We did a great project. We've already gotten a lot of festival response from it. So I don't know. Let's run.
And your short story has a Clinton connection.
The short story was in 2008 or 2009. Barry Hannah was the judge for the Brick Streets Press Short Story Award, and Chasing Rabbits won.
Okay, Brick Streets Press.
And that was the one and only time I got to meet Barry Hannah. So yeah. Chasing Rabbits has a very strong Clinton biography.
Right.
So here we are. I'm very happy to be here doing it.
Okay, are y'all ready? All right. Here we go. Hope you'll enjoy Chasing Rabbits.
Why are you running the siren like that?
I run it during emergencies.
This isn't an emergency. And I guess it was when they were here, but as you can see, they are clearly gone.
Were you here?
Yep, worked late at the truck stop. And came home, went straight to bed.
About what time?
1, maybe 2. I woke up when I heard them, but then I just slid off the bed and went under and just stayed there until I heard them leave, and then just went back to sleep.
You slept under the bed?
Under the bed.
They take anything important?
My peace of mind?
You don't seem overly concerned.
What am I supposed to be doing?
I'm guessing Dale's nowhere to be found. I don't see the car outside.
Pam carried me home.
Could act like you give a rat's tail.
I do give a rat's tail, all right? What do you think is going on?
We figure some bored high school kids, they don't usually take anything, just do it for the hell of doing it. It's only houses way out in the country where nobody else is around. If the car would have been here, they probably would have kept going.
About the TV.
Whatever will Dale do now?
Steve, please give it a rest.
You call Mom?
For what?
It's her house.
No, it is not. And you know it's not, because she signed it over to me, and you were sitting right there when she did it.
It's the family place.
This hasn't been the family place since she ran off with old what's-his-name to Ohio 5 years ago, okay?
It's all still ours. The house, 20 acres out there.
Yeah, I used to love mornings like this when we were little. The sun creeping out over the trees. The grass all wet and shiny. God, we used to stay outside all day. Just running with our little bare feet in the damp fields. And in the creek. God, it was so cold. Just being in the world. No worries at all. You remember all that?
Of course I do, Rachel.
You know, I went out there not too long ago to just find the trail. But it was all grown over and I couldn't find it. Never thought I'd feel lost out there, but it's gone. It's just all gone.
I hate to ask, where's Dale this time?
He's in Hattiesburg.
What for?
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah, he's meeting a couple guys down there who are into buying and selling buffalo. It's supposed to be the next hamburger.
A buffalo farm. Just how's that supposed to work?
Well, that's what he's going down there to figure out, Stephen.
I bet the first round of drinks didn't hit the table before they figure out he's got no money and less sense.
You know, I don't know who you think you are to talk. You drive around in that cruiser all day and just hang out at the Dairy Queen parking lot talking to high school.
And I deal with drunks on the road.
Okay.
And one neighbor's shooting another neighbor's dog and a bunch of other stuff because it's my job. And that's the point.
What is your point again?
The point is you have a job. You have the house. You're the big dog and Dale's a fat tick sucking on your backside.
Lord, that's gross. You know what? At least Dale is trying.
Trying is working. Not sitting around all day trying to think of some fancy slogan for a t-shirt or invent some gadget no household can live without.
All right, so I guess it was his fault that the plant laid everybody off.
3 years ago. You know what everybody else did? Found another job. They ain't running all over the place chasing rabbits. Let me see if I can recall a few of his brilliant ideas. Red light radar detector guaranteed to cause about a 10-car pileup. And there was the solar-powered can opener, because everybody needs a can opener out at the lake or walking in the yard. My all-time favorite, sandals. Shoes that transform into sandals in 2 easy steps.
You know, that's enough. That's enough.
And then there was the...
I said that is enough, Stephen. That's enough.
Listen to me. Call Mom. Go and stay with her for a while. See how Dale floats on his own. My guess is he'll get hungry, decide to get a job again.
I'm not going to Ohio.
I'm guessing insurance will cover most of this. You know where the policy is?
Yes, I know where the policy is.
I get off later. I got to pick up the kids. Then we'll come help you clean up. We'll bring pizza and beer, okay? I don't mean to fuss, Rachel, but you're my little sister. I'm worried about you.
Don't be. I'm fine.
What in the ever-living hell? Rachel! Rachel! Rachel, honey, it's me. It's me, Dale. Can you hear me? Not if you can hear me or has the shock took hold.
I can hear you fine, Dale.
You haven't been violated, have you? Not if you've been violated.
Quit telling me to nod.
Are you sure you ain't been violated?
You don't sound so disappointed.
What the hell happened?
No. You first. You tell me what happened in Hattiesburg.
What?
You heard me.
Are you sure you ain't gripped with the shock?
I'm not gripped by the shock or by nothing else.
Are you sure you ain't been violated?
That's enough. If you do not tell me what you did last night, I am going to punch you in the throat.
Nothing. I did nothing. Nothing ever happens. You should know that by now.
So no buffalo.
There's plenty of buffalo. You just need $50,000 to invest.
Well, what did you tell them?
I just smiled and nodded.
Where did you meet them?
Some bar. They wanted to drink before getting to the details.
Who bought the drinks?
They did.
Well, then what'd you do?
We walked a couple blocks to the restaurant before it got serious, you know, and want to talk about the herd, the market, where we was gonna put the farm and whatnot. And then we ordered.
What did you order?
Steak so big it was hanging off the plate.
Did you at least pretend like you had money?
I a little bit more after every drink. By the time we was done drinking, they thought I was the cattle king of Mississippi. And then we started dancing.
What, you started what?
Yeah. There's this bar above the restaurant, and this band's playing right now. By then, everybody's good and drunk. It only takes one idiot, to start dancing where everybody joins in.
Okay. But you danced.
Just one song, I had to sneak back down to the table.
Why'd you have to do that?
I had to find a way home. The big shot who paid for everything paid in cash.
Do not tell me that you took that tip money. Don't tell me that.
I didn't have no choice. It was only like $60. I took it and slipped out. Nobody saw me.
I wish somebody would have had seen you and they would have stuck it up your butt.
Why?
Because I work for tips, Dale, in case you forgot. That's what I do.
No. They took the television.
Okay, before you lay down and die, I do have one question. Where did you sleep last night? Because everybody knows that you cannot get a tank of gas and a hotel room for $60.
There's a little zoo in Hattiesburg. I slept there all night in the car. My dang neck feels like it's wrapped up in a coat hanger, and the mosquitoes tore my tail up.
Do you have any money left?
I spent the rest of it on gas, a styrofoam cooler, and beer.
Where's the cooler?
Back seat.
Go get it.
Dale, get your butt up and go get it.
You know, one thing's for sure, there ain't no gimmicks. Money makes money. It's not some bull crap gimmick or idea or invention that you come up with in your kitchen in the middle of the night.
Hey, give me one. So this is what I'm
Are
wondering.
you gonna tell me what happened here?
No, I am not, because it don't matter.
It does matter, Rachel. It's all our stuff. It's our house. Did you call the law?
Stephen came out.
I bet he had a lot to say.
Well, you know what? It might not kill us both to listen to him every now and then.
Guess so. Some bitch knows everything.
And by the way, Dale, this is not your house. This is my house. And it's my 20 acres on all sides.
So what's that make me, a tenant?
No, tenants pay rent.
Why don't you just sharpen that knife before you stab me in the gut with it?
Stop being so dramatic. God, all you do is talk, talk, talk. If you would just shut your mouth for half a second, you would have heard what I was trying to tell you that I was wondering, before you just started in.
So tell it. Is it okay, though, if I sit on your couch and listen?
What I was wondering is, at any point, did you ever stop and think that I wanted to maybe go to Hattiesburg? No, don't even pretend to answer, because I know the answer is no. You never once thought, oh, maybe Rachel would like a night off from waiting tables. Maybe Rachel would like to ride on the highway and drink beer with the strangers and dance and talk about buffalo. You know, you got an answer for everything. Everything, until it comes to me and what I want. Then you got nothing. So, tell me, Dale, why didn't you want me to come to Hattiesburg with you?
Because.
Because, come on, Dale. Come on, you can do better than that. Give me the sales pitch, you know? Give me the bull crap. If you can tell me, how's this, in 20 words or less, why you didn't want me to come with you, then I'll let you stick your hand in my robe, okay?
Because
why?
Because I knew I was gonna fail, and I didn't want you there to see it.
Hey, you know what? don't even know. I don't even know what we would do if you really got a big score. Okay. I think we'd probably still stay in the same house. Know the same people. I don't know, maybe we'd have a faster car. Maybe we'd have a faster car. But I just don't know what the point is. It's like, where's this like happy area even fit in? You know? Like, do you remember how much severance you got when you got laid off?
A year's worth?
God, we blew through that in what, like 3-4 months? We went to dinner in Jackson and Memphis. God, we didn't even look at the prices of anything, drinks or dinner or nothing like that. You're gonna get kicked out too. We're trying to shut us down.
You probably shouldn't have done all that.
It was so much fun. Oh, God, it was the last time I had any of it.
If you want more out of me, just say it.
I didn't know that I had to tell a grown man to get back up when he's down. I'm sorry.
Will you please tell me what happened here?
No.
You asking me what's wrong with me. But I can say the same thing about you. You know that, right? Right now. Right? You get this far away look in your eyes. There ain't nothing I can figure out. So what? So what if I've been taking chances? It's better than the alternative.
You know, I'm almost jealous. Dumb kids who did all this, you know? Just don't even care. No thought to the consequences. Just careless. I just almost forgot what it felt like to feel that way. Tell me about the buffalo.
The what?
The buffalo, Dale. Tell me about the buffalo. Where are they gonna keep them?
Down there. They showed me on a map. It's a couple 100 acres.
But what are they gonna do with the money? Like, where's the money gonna go?
You invest it in the herd. And once the herd sells, that money rolls over. And then apparently it just keeps on rolling over, so they say.
Where are the car keys?
In my pocket.
No, stop it. Sit down.
What the hell are you doing?
Shut up and listen to me. Shut up.
That's
Stop.
burning.
Yeah, I know. Stop. Worry about the couch and don't worry about the ladder. Just shut up and listen to me, okay? This is what's gonna happen. This is how it's gonna go. I'm gonna call Stephen and I'm gonna tell him to keep quiet about the break-in, all right? All right? And that cigarette and this couch is going to burn and it's gonna go up in flames and we, Dale, are going to get the insurance money for the house, okay? And then I'm gonna sell all this land. All right, it won't take it long to go because it's good land, all right? And then you and me, we're going to move down to Hattiesburg, okay? And we're gonna get a little condo, a little apartment or something like that. Just so we can be there to watch the buffalo or whatever that means. We gotta watch them. And we're gonna both get jobs. Dale, I'm gonna get a job and you're gonna get a job, okay? We're gonna both get jobs. So just in case there's like buffalo plague or something, we need to be ready. And look, this is the one and only deal. And if you do not like this deal, okay, you can walk out. And if you decide that in the middle of it, you don't like this deal, then you can walk out. But if you like this deal, okay, then I want you to grab that cooler and I want you to go out to the mailbox and I want you to stand there and wait and look stupefied when the fire department comes because this is gonna go up so fast, okay?
I will take this deal.
Okay. Come on. Let's go. Okay, come on.
Rachel, this is your home.
Not no more. Come on.
Take a little hold of you, holding on to see this thing through. The sun will rise, stars will fade. Take hope for another day. Take a little hold of you. It's all you can do. Tomorrow knows the fire will burn. It's time to take your turn. I know you think about the promised land and what you want to be. I know you're reaching for that holding hand. Come along with me. You're looking wild. You're looking free. Take a little hold of me.
Thank you. Thank you.
A nice uplifting film. Have a seat. That was cool.
It depends on how you define optimism.
That's right. So everybody was asking in Oxford, so what happens? What happens? And Michael, I think you said maybe she would end up at the Beau Rivage and they would never spend the money on the buffalo. And, so at the end, we'll bring the students up and introduce you quickly to them and let you see them and all. So Michael, okay. So we watched our PBS version tonight. So all of the, and we're still doing little tweaks and little things, but we are going to do a behind the scenes broadcast of the production of this program and do that as a special for Mississippi Public Broadcasting and hopefully beyond, with a Mississippi writer who has decided to try his hand at filmmaking and the student crew and all of that stuff. So Cole shot great behind the scenes footage, and Kaylee, and so we've got some great stuff to pull that together. And so you're going to be surprised at some of the way we did some of these things and all. But we were real pleased with how it turned out for our first attempt at filmmaking. It wasn't as good as The Odd Father, of course. It gives us something to strive for, Michael. That was
nothing's as good as The Odd Father.
Thank you.
Everything's down below there. But no, I think, we keep calling this like first time and student film and this, that, and the other, but it's not a student film and it's not really a first time, because you've shot things, the wonderful documentaries.
It's a film.
I didn't direct 2 movies, but I wrote 2 movies,
right.
And I sat on set for 2 movies. And I mean, quite honestly, like, the actors are all very experienced, and the crew, while they were student filmmakers, like, they're smart, intelligent people, and they took direction very well, and they listened, they adapted, and so I think from that standpoint, it's I think we're underselling it a little bit, because I think that the response we're getting from festivals and audiences has been very encouraging, and so I'm nothing short of very proud of it, of what we did.
I am too, and with Michael, again, his writing, I've just fallen in love with it. The Salvage This World, just fantastic. My favorite is Blackwood, and hopefully there's going to be a film made on that. We've got this, all of these treasures in writing in Mississippi. We've got the Faulkners, the Weltys, and all. But a lot of those guys are dead and gone, and you are this new wave, and it's not just popular writing, it's good writing. And that's what I like about your work. There's some meat to it. So tell me, with becoming a writer in Mississippi, I know you were influenced by Larry Brown. I know you were influenced with some of the writers there around Oxford and that sort of thing. But how do you get from writing, now writing and film work sometimes is a little more intertwined than it used to be. Tell me how you get from writing and that world into working in film and having things in film done on your work.
Oh man, that's actually a really good question. We were talking about this a little earlier. The creativity aspect of it, it's like two different muscles, because film is so much more like giddy up and rhythmic and concise and economic. But I will tell you this, like being a novelist, some of the favorite things I've had said about my work as a novelist is when reviewers or such call it, or they refer to it as cinematic, or so image driven and so visual. And so I truly think that when it came time for me to write scripts, because scripts are so like beat image driven, like whereas in a novel I may take half a page to describe this lovely sunset or this landscape as we're going. In a script I have 1.5 sentences to deliver that image. But because I think
but when you're writing a novel, are you seeing it as a film in your mind?
Yeah, well,
somewhat.
Yeah, I am. I think you've probably heard me say this, and I'm guessing some people probably sitting here have heard me say it. Like the best piece of writing advice I ever got as a fiction writer. Well, somebody told me one time, I was in a workshop, and they said, when you're writing fiction, when you're writing sentences, you should pretend like you're sitting in a theater and there's a movie on the screen and the person sitting next to you is blindfolded and you have to describe to them what you see. Because you wouldn't just say, there's a house on a hill. You would say, there's an old weathered wood frame house, the grass is high, there are wildflowers in the yard, and there's a dog laying on the porch. Like you would give very specifics, and you would have to do it very economically because the screen changes. And you have to do it, that same thing, over and over and over and over and over and over in an economic, image-driven way so that your reader can see what you were seeing. And this was like 20 years ago when I heard this, and it made a lot of sense to me. So like, I feel like when I write sentences, I have that in the back of my mind, so it's kind of like, almost like script-driven from the get-go. So when I sat down and started writing scripts and doing adaptation, I felt like I almost had a little bit of a shortcut into it, because that's the way I thought about writing prose. And I thought it translated well to writing for the screen.
Well, and it's very unusual for a screenwriter to be on the set as much as you were during the adaptation of your two novels. So what was that experience like?
It is strange, which I couldn't quite wrap my head around, because producers kept walking up to me and they would go like, do you know how strange it is for the writer to be here? And I was like, why? Because, I mean, I feel like that should be like one of the top 3 people who actually was there, because if there's any questions from actor standpoint or director standpoint, or if they're from, God Almighty, something has to be rewritten on the spot, which happened a lot in Desperation Road. We had to do a lot of, and I remember thinking, if I wasn't sitting here and somebody else had to rewrite this, and
which is why so many films veer so far from the novels.
And it made a lot of sense to me why adaptations do go off the track, because the novelist and even if the novelist wrote the adaptation, they're not on set. So like, if you have to take an 8-page scene and we got to make it 4 pages, some yokel is sitting there and going, oh, I can do it, and then they do it, and it can change the whole dynamic. In fact, there were times in Desperation Road when the director said to me, we're going to cut this and we're going to make it this and this and this. I said, no, we're not, because if you do that, then there's about 13 things that have to change in the last 30 pages of the script. And she would be like, oh yeah. And so, but I was fortunate both times. I have directors on both films who said, we want you here, and whatever we got to do, we're just going to do it together, which is rare, but I think it also should be probably the way it's supposed to be.
Well, Desperation Road is a great film. The Fighter, Michael's novel, was turned into a film called Rumble Through the Dark, two great movies. So Desperation Road has this little-known actor named Mel Gibson in it. So what was it like to get the word that Mel was going to be in the film made from your novel?
I got a call on a Thursday from the producer, and we had several cast members lined up. But in the indie film world, you kind of got to land that bigger name, which gives you money. It's a very weird thing. It gives you money on the foreign market so that you can make the movie, right? So we were kind of still waiting on that bigger name. I remember our producer calling me on Thursday and going, you know what? Who would be great for the father role is Mel Gibson. I'm going to send it to his team. And I remember like going, yeah, that sounds great. Like, why don't we also send it to Santa Claus, Marlon Brando, the Easter Bunny? Like, that's fine, whatever, man. And so I completely dismissed it out of my mind. And Sunday afternoon, just a few days later, my phone rang and it was the director, and she starts talking about what's going to happen in 3 weeks. Like, the movie's been greenlit. Like, we're about to go. Like, all right, we got to do this and this and this. And I'm like, I remember saying, what are you talking about? And she goes, did Cassian, the producer, did he not call you? I said, no. Call me about what? And she goes, Mel said yes. Like, Mel wants to do the movie. Like, him and his whole team have read the script over the weekend. He wants to do the movie. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, yeah. And I hung up the phone and I called Cassie, and he goes, because honest to God, like, getting an actor to read in 2 or 3 weeks is fast.
Yeah.
The fact that they read it in 3 days, him and all his agents and managers all read it in 3 days, is like lightning speed in Hollywood terms. And so I got on the phone Monday with everybody, and they go,
you thought it was a joke.
I did. I did not believe it. I swear. I remember telling somebody, you could ask my wife. I'd be like, I don't believe this at all. But on Monday, the phone rang. They're like, Mel wants to talk to you. I'm like, about what? About being in the movie. I'm like, okay, fine. And so I get the email, Zoom call. Here's your Zoom link. Michael Farris Smith, Mel Gibson, Friday, 3 o'clock. And I'm like, so I had all week to sit around and wait. And I was waiting all week just for it to get, canceled or canned or whatever. Because that happens all the time, too, in Hollywood movie. And everybody's just talking all the time. So I never thought that call was going to take place. And sure enough, it had to be Friday morning. It hadn't been canceled. I'm like, okay. And the clock was ticking, and here we go. And I'm looking at my watch, and sure enough, at 3 o'clock Central Time, my Zoom pops up, and I open it up, and it's Braveheart sitting there looking at me. And I said, well, Mel, hello. He's like, well, hey, Michael, how are you? And I immediately, and to back up too, like, I was nervous because if Mel wants to be in your movie, that's awesome. But I was a little worried that he would say, I will be in it if you do this, and this to the script. Because that happens too. Actors have a way of reading things, and they go, yeah, I love it, but how about this, and this? And if he said that, how am I going to respond? Because his being in the movie means we have the budget to get it made. So am I going to be willing to change those things just to get it made? And I wasn't sure. And so I was worried about that. And we get on the Zoom, and I said, well, Mel, I just want to tell you, thank you for taking the time. One, to read the script, how fast you read it, and thanks for taking the time. He goes, are you kidding me? He goes, do you know how much crap I have to read to get to something this good? And when he said that, it was just, it was off then. Like my tension, anxiety, everything. It was just two guys just talking about doing a project together.
And then tell him on the set though, even how reverential he was.
Yeah, all the actors that I've worked with, he was the only one who before every scene he was in, it didn't matter if he had 2 lines or if he had 15 lines, he would come over to me with the script to talk about it. And if he wanted to change like one word, he would say, "Do you mind if I change this word? Do you mind if I say this instead of this?" And then he would tell me why I want to do it. And I go, "It's okay, Mel, you can do it. Go ahead. I trust you. Multiple Academy Award winner, I trust you to change that word."
You've been good to Mel.
That's right.
But it's a great role. So if you haven't seen it, Desperation Road, it's a great movie. So that leading you to wanting to direct and do things on your own, and you're saying, if these people can direct, I can try my hand at that. And we did. We had a vision for what we wanted to do with Chasing Rabbits, and we had a very limited time frame. But here's the problem. You saw that devastation at the beginning. You saw the destruction, and we're like, who is going to let us pretend to tear up their house and then we'll have to clean it back up? And I happened to start looking around, and we looked at this little house on College Street, and they didn't want us to do it. And we looked at different things, and they didn't want to do it. I called Chris Evans, who's here tonight. Scott Evans was my college roommate. Chris, I taught in 7th and 8th grade. Chris, did I teach you on this campus? It was on this campus when it was a junior high, and I taught Chris. And I know they have, I lived in one of the houses their dad had back when Mr. Evans, Kerry Evans had apartments. I said, "Chris, do y'all have a house? Scott, do y'all have a house that maybe we could pretend to tear up?" And Chris said, "Well, we have one we're about to remodel." I said, "So yeah, we could come in and just tear up the cabinets and spray paint and all?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." And I'm like, I cannot wait to call Michael. So we had found us a house, and so we worked that out, and Chris was there the first day, and then Scott stayed over for the second day. So Chris wasn't there when we actually lit a fire in the house, but it all worked out fine. So I'll also recognize Chris here in just a couple minutes. We only have a few minutes left because I want to make good use of your time, and the Lemuria table back there and all, and he's staying over for us, so we're very grateful for that. So I want to get books, and again, we can continue conversation over that way, but tell them about the special effects there that we were doing, both in the house and how that came about, and your contribution to the special effects.
Well, Anthony and I were very careful not to talk about how to fake setting this house on fire until we got to it, which I thought was both odd and very relieving at the same time. But then he had his special effects already, but we needed fire, and we had that old couch, and was it Scott was there? Yeah.
Yeah, Scott was there.
And we were like, "Hey man, do you mind if we just set this couch on fire real quick?"
Just a little bit? Just a little bit?
Just a little bit. And we'll just film it. We just want to get the fire, put the camera on it so the audience can see it. So when they see the light later, they believe a fire is there.
And I think Scott's comment was, "Well, it's Chris's house and he's not here, so sure."
Yeah. So it's truly just we light the fire on the couch. You saw the flames. We let it burn for a little bit. There's a little more footage but you'd have thought it was like a bomb in Times Square. As many people we had standing around it, with fire extinguishers and ready to pounce on it. But we had several of our college crew flashing lights, and I was smoking a cigar and laying beneath the couch, puffing smoke rings up to try to get it. So it's movie magic. That's the beauty of it. And I'm glad the crew got to see that too, because when you're on set, you see that.
Whatever works.
Right?
Yep.
There's so many stories I could tell from both movies where the things you're seeing on screen, what's really going on, it's ridiculous. So that little thing, you're seeing the two characters, you're seeing the light, you're seeing the fire, you're seeing the smoke. There's about 11 people doing something just below camera line to make that all seem very real.
And the exterior shot, which we really didn't know what we were going to do. And so that's a projector inside the house projecting flames on those curtains. So once we got that dialed in, and Cole and I have a camera on a selfie stick that we're raising up to do that pullback shot, and Elizabeth was filming, and Kate, and so we had to call the fire department. And when you come next door to the studio, you'll see a slideshow on the screen behind where they'll be signing, and there's behind the scenes photos. And one of them has Amy, my wife, holding a sign that says, "House not on fire, filming." So she's holding up this sign at the road. We had to call the fire department because people were calling in saying, "There's a house on fire," because it looked so real from the outside. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I took a video of that outside. I sent it to my wife without any comment. And she texted me back. She goes, "Oh my God, what happened?" And I just texted her back. I said, "We accidentally dropped a real lit cigarette, and now the couch and the house are actually on fire." Because it looked that real to her. So very good, Andy.
And my favorite behind the scenes shot is the whole crew, and McGee had smoked before, but she thought we might need some fake cigarettes, and so we were trying some things. So I found some fake cigarettes that you could blow a little bit and some powder comes out, and we were trying things. So I had a bunch of those that I bought in case we needed some stunt cigarettes or whatever, and we had those on the set. So for one of the crew pictures, we have all these sweet little MC students, and they all have a cigarette hanging out of their mouth. And we did not post that on the MC site. So, but good times. So, Michael, I'm going to let you share, and then we'll take a couple of questions. And I'm like I said, I'm going to wrap it up so that we can get over there, and then you guys can just come and personally ask Michael and Gary things. And what we're going to do is we'll kind of whisk them out over there so we don't get caught in the aisle, and then all of you can come over there, and they're seated, and that way it'll just flow better. And we got some snacks outside and some waters and all. So, Michael, what are some of your overall closing thoughts here about?
Oh, well, I think it was I've told you that my main criteria for working with somebody is the amount of enthusiasm I hear in their voice or see in their actions. That goes for everything I've ever done. And the agents I've chosen, and the editors I've chosen, and the directors I've chosen to work with. I mean, from that level to, truly anything. Mm-hmm. And when I spoke with you the first time when we talked about doing this, you were clearly excited about it. And we were both excited about it. I mean, we put it together really quickly. And everybody involved just was enthusiastic about it. All the students, Amy, all the actors, like everybody involved was just like really enthusiastic about this project, like I was and like you were. And I think that shows in the film. And I think it shows for me personally in the experience of it all. Because I've had two very different experiences on set. Right. I was a part of one film where everybody was pulling in the same direction, and we overcame a lot of stuff to get it done, but everybody was on the same team. And I was on another film where it was not like that. And it was incredibly stressful and anxiety ridden. And so this was a truly enjoyable experience, because filmmaking is stressful. Even a short film, it's a very stressful process. But when you're working with people who get it and who are enthusiastic, and everybody's pulling on the same rope, it makes a tremendous amount of difference. And my take from this is everybody here was involved with that, did that, and it was a very positive thing, and I think it shows in the film.
That's great. And we also went and filmed out at the Natchez Trace on the creek for those child flashback sequences. And we get there and we arrive, and the young girl the boy is Mary Alice Welty's White's grandson, Drew White. So that Mary Alice is Eudora Welty's niece. So Drew was in our film as the boy, but the girl was Kate's cousin or niece or something. We get there and she said, "I don't want to do this." And then Michael had to, so his first day of directing was actually at the creek, coaxing this little girl to go sit on a log in the middle of the creek. How old? 4 years old, and did a great job directing. So,
Well, as I said to Anthony that day, I was like, I got it, don't worry about it. I have 2 daughters. I have debated with 4-year-old girls a lot.
so and it worked well, but that was like a baptism of fire. So we've got great photos and great things to share. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 2 questions. So if you've got a really good question you want to ask Michael in front of everybody. Anybody? Or one? What was your favorite short story to ever write? What did you say? Favorite short story to ever write?
To ever write? Well, I mean, at this point, I would have to say it would be Chasing Rabbits.
Chasing Rabbits, that's
Just
right.
because of the longevity of it. You know, when you write a short story, you never expect anything like this to go down. And that was 2008 is how many years ago now?
Yeah.
17, and that we're sitting here talking about it. Although I will say, I wrote a very short, like a 3-page story that ran in Salvation South like a couple of years ago, and I really liked it just because I like the idea of doing something in that small of space that I think is meaningful. You know.
Gary Grubbs, do you have a question for our filmmaker? Is Gary asleep?
Yeah, there was one right here in the middle.
Was there one in the middle? Yes, sir.
Being a novelist, playwright, screenwriter, is it painful? You have periods of just severe.
I mean, it only hurts from the time I'm awake till the time I go to sleep.
Other than that, it doesn't hurt at all.
I mean, painful, I don't know. It's agonizing. It's also very rewarding. It's also something I can't wait to get to every morning, kind of when I wake up and go to it. But there are gives and takes. Every novel I write, about halfway through, I want to throw it in the garbage. And I'm like, this is awful, and I don't know why I'm doing this. And then when I finally get through the end of it, I'm like, okay, that's not so bad. And then when it's time to write another one, I'm like, why in God's name am I doing this? So I don't know if agonize might be a fair word. But it's agonizing not necessarily in a painful way, but in a very emotional way, I think would be the best way to put it. But I also do it by choice, and there's nothing else I would do.
That's great. Hey, all the filmmakers who were a part of this film, be making your way down here. Everybody, again, we're going to continue over there. First of all, so don't get up, don't leave. All the filmmakers, the young students, just come line up across the bottom here. Or why don't you come up on here, and that way we can see you in front of the screen. Come on, Sydney, y'all come on up, come on. And we're going to quickly just point you out. Let's give them a hand.
Man.
Big Daddy.
Yo.
Xavier. Okay, so we have Xavier Branch. Xavier was a PA, and he did the fog machine and effects and the clapboard. Cole is, his last name, I kid you not, is Cole Short. That is his name. Cole did the behind-the-scenes camera work. He was also one of the vandals tearing up the thing, and he was really getting into that stabbing the couch. It scared us all. Camden Reed. Camden was also one of the PAs. Camden did special effects and fog effects, and Camden is also interested in writing and that sort of thing. I mean, so lots of good things going to come from these guys. Sydney, here, get in the light. So this is Sydney, my daughter. Sydney was the first AD, and she was flashing the orange light to make it look like fire on the fake close-up. This is Elizabeth. Elizabeth saved the day. Elizabeth was running the main camera, and she did just such a great job. One point, she was about to pass out from all the smoke and the fog, and she said, I've got to go outside. But Elizabeth, her camera work, I could just trust her, and she just did a wonderful job. Kaylee. So Kaylee Ellis She did behind the scenes photography, some of the best photography. If you go to thaxtonstudios.smugmug.com, you can see lots of, I'll give you that over there. But Kaylee did thousands of photos for us. It's just wonderful stuff. Nate Brock, who did sound and the boom mic and all kind of stuff. He was sitting in with me on some of the edits and all. So anyway, wonderful crew. Give these guys the sweetest group of kids. Good guys. Thank y'all. Let's give Michael Farris Smith another round of applause.